Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Intuitive Angling. Really appreciate you guys making some time out of your video. Man, I know you could probably be doing some other stuff, but thanks for checking the video out this morning. And started a little bit tired this morning. Had a late night last night, up late with Elijah playing around a little bit, so a little sleepy this morning. Nice morning out, man. It's really cloudy this morning, had a little bit of rain, so feels good being out here early this morning. Anyway, guys, we are going to talk about today about boat dock owners and make the case that they got too many rights, and they're trampling on the rights of the fishermen to have these docks on there. And I wanted to do this video based upon a video I did yesterday on fishing marina docks, because I was talking about how to fish marina docks in the summer in that video, and I got a bunch of comments on there about people saying, "Well, that's great, Randy, about great info, but I can't fish. They won't let us fish around marina docks here. They're off limits." So we're going to get into that a little bit here and talk about my opinion on it and maybe some things that can be done about it. First of all, guys, if you guys have fished very long, you've run into a bunch of a-holes that own boat docks. And if you haven't, you're going to. And I'm not saying that everyone that has a dock is a jerk. I'm not saying that, because I've got friends, family that have docks. I used to have a little boat dock on a lake called Lake Lotawana by Kansas City, and there's some guys out there that are great. They'll invite you and say, "Hey, I caught a good one off this brush pile right here. This is a good spot on the dock to fish." So some guys are great, but there are some real a-holes out there that think they own the freaking water. So I'm gonna talk about that in sort of a common sense term, and I'll give you guys a prime example of what I'm talking about. This is typical prime example. You guys know I fished Grand Lake and Table Rock Lake forever, since the 1960s. We've talked about it before in the channel. And down at Grand Lake, there was this one little secondary point back in this creek that I'd fished since, God, probably 1972 with my dad. And it's had this little secondary point. It's got a little rock pile about 20 foot off of it. And guys, I have caught just hundreds of good fish off this point, right by that rock pile. Big ones too. So anyway, about 7 or 8 years ago, here comes this dude that freaking rips the hillside out above it, bulldozes all down the trees, builds for $2 million weekend getaway house, and puts this boat dock right smack dab on top of my point that I've been fishing since I was 10 years old. So needless to say, I was not happy about this. He just ruined one of my best spots on the lake. So 7 or 8 or I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something, I was down there fishing, and I'm fishing the point. Well, I can't fish the point now because there's a dock on it, but I was fishing around the dock that he put on the point, and pitching and flipping around the walkway, and this dude comes walking down from his house up there. And, probably, I don't know, this guy was probably in his early 60s, something like that, and walks down there and starts mouthing me about fishing behind the dock, and about I need to make sure my boat doesn't hit his boat dock, like my fiberglass boat dock's going to damage his steel cable and his rebar on his dock. And it just hit me wrong, and I freaking laid into this dude like you have never seen before. Probably said some stuff to him that let's say stuff or squirrel, probably said some stuff to this guy I shouldn't have said, but it just hit me wrong that this guy thought he had I don't say the right, but he thought he had the right to take away not only my fishing spot, but everybody that has fished this spot for 50 years, simply because he had millions of dollars to buy this house up there. So, I got in this freaking, I wasn't arguing because I wasn't really letting him talk, but basically told him to shut up and sit down and left. And, it just hit me wrong, the fact that he thought he had the right to take away somebody's fishing spot. So I want to get into that a little bit, talking about these dock owners here. First of all, we're seeing, this happens more and more because there's being more and more docks built on lakes across the country. And what you have on there is you've got public bodies of water that people come in, they put marina docks on, they put condo docks on, they put residential docks on, bodies of water, and they eat up hundreds and hundreds of surface acres of public water that people have fished for years to have these docks on there, simply because they have the legal right to do that. And the legal right to do this, guys, comes with money. I have seen this over and over again, where you'll take somebody's will property owners will take the rights away from tax-paying citizens to have these docks on there, and then they lay claim on these boat docks that you can't fish around here. And this is the same. This is especially true for marina docks. Like, you go down to Table Rock Lake and there's signs everywhere around the marina docks: no fishing within 50 feet of the docks. What gives those guys the right to put a dock in, to lease a dock that we don't get any money from? I don't know who gets the money from this lease, but we don't. To put in this dock and say that you do not have the right to fish on this public body of water because we have the money to put this dock in here. And it's the same with the residential. You know, the residential dock owners, I've never seen them having. Some guys will put signs out. Normally, you're just running into the a-holes that give you a hard time to fish around it. But all these other resort docks and the marina docks, they've got these signs out that say they can be enforced. I've gotten arguments with those dudes. I got in a big argument with a guy down at Beaver Lake on a marina down there. When these things first came out, he was telling me I had to leave or they're going to call the sheriff. I said, fine, go call the sheriff, get him down here. I fished around this freaking dock for 20 years. So you run into this all the time, that for whatever reason, some of these people with money, they have the ability to, I don't know if it's passing some type of legislation with their buddy that's a state senator or a congressman or something to give them the riparian rights to have this dock on the water and keep you away from it. For whatever it is, it's not right. It is not right that we are, as taxpayers, that we subsidize these lakes and that people can come in, put docks on there, not only take away our area that we fish in, but tell us that we cannot fish around these docks. It's just, it's a violation of our rights as citizens. And the point is what can we do about it? You know, and the only thing that you can do about it, like anything else, it's all about money and legislation. It's like, that's the bad thing about this country. It's like so many laws we have in this country. It's all about politicians and legislations and who's got the money to influence them. It's the same way with docks. And until that you can get some type of angler-friendly politician that has the ability to pass legislation to tell these dock owners, say, you guys can't do this. If you guys want to spend your money and put boat docks on a lake, you're going to have to let these guys fish anywhere they want around it. As long as they don't touch your dock, they can fish 2 inches away from your dock if they want to. If they can swim around your dock if they want to. They should not have any right to tell bass anglers or citizens on the lake that they cannot fish around those docks. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It'd be like me going into some type of a wildlife refuge or state park and building a cabin in there and telling everybody, yeah, you can't fish around here because I lease this thing. So I don't know, it's sort of a sneaky deal. Every single lake across the country has different regulations on it. There's no one size that fits all. But ultimately, you know, it's not good for the anglers at all in any case or form. And on top of that, we've talked about before, it's just like it goes back to money. Not only that you have these guys coming in here and putting boat docks on the lake that take up our surface acres of water and ruin stretches of shoreline. Guys, I'm telling you right now, down at Grand Lake, and it's going on at Table Rock, it's going on everywhere across the country, we are getting key stretches of shoreline eaten up constantly that makes you completely change the way that you fish a lake and makes it a lot more difficult. It sucks fishing around boat docks, guys. I talk about fishing around boat docks and I give you guys tips and advice, but basically boat docks are a pain in the ass to fish around. They scratch your boat up, that you can't get to where the fish are. A lot of them, fishing around boat docks sucks, but you have to do it. On top of that, what we're talking about, we get into this thing about, again, a lot of these people that are loaded, not only they have the right to build these docks and take away your fishing areas, they also have the right to go up there and freaking bulldoze a hillside of 200-year-old oak trees to put in their $2 million weekend homes. So I don't have a lot of respect for that, man. I just, you know, it's like, it's all about, goes back again to money talks and everybody else just take a seat. That's sort of what it is out there. So Anyway, guys, just a little rant this morning about that. That's sort of my feeling on that. You know, if they want to have boat docks out there, there shouldn't be any regulations or laws about how close you can fish to them. That's just part of the thing. If you want to take up somebody's fishing spot and put a dock in, you should have to deal with that. And something that's just, we're sort of screwed on the deal right now. But a few thoughts of mine, share me yours, drop some comments, let me guys know what you think about it, and we'll talk to you later. See you.